Hello, we are about to start drawing a human face, a realistic human face, and I wanted to uh, say welcome to class and let's get started. I've already gone over the materials you need. I'll be having a few pictures here that I'll pull into frame to show examples of in a moment, but we're going to start with having a shape to build our face on. Now, we may end up changing this shape a little bit and making adjustments to it as we go along, but we need somewhere to start. So we're going to start with an oval. When you make an oval, you don't want to just use your fingers and draw the oval. You want to use your whole hand and use your shoulder. Get that in frame, your shoulder. And I usually will kick my elbow out to the side so that it's not hitting my body and making my oval strange or wonky. And then I'll air draw a few times and start before I let my pencil touch. And then very lightly, I want to emphasize, very, very lightly, you want to draw some ovals. And that's looking a lot more squashed and a lot more round than what it really is. It is actually quite a little bit elongated than what it looks in the camera frame. And it's still not perfect. Mine's a little bit flat on this side, but that's okay. I'm going to take an average of several of these lines, but I drew them very lightly so that I could easily erase them and not leave scars on the paper. So I think this outer line here kind of matches up with this line here. So we're going to go with that. Now, a lot of times I don't even erase, at least not yet, my extra lines here, but since there's a pretty big difference, I'm going to erase these and get these out of the way so it's easier for me to see some of my balance with this. Okay, so I didn't erase all of them. I still left some of them there. So this is an oval. There will be areas where we might drop down the chin partly or the jawline here and maybe the chin here areas or build out part of the temple here, but this gives us a basic shape to start with. Now, I am going to give me some guidelines to draw with. So I'm going to start and go down the middle, trying to keep it fairly straight. Once again, I want it to be very light. This is not a line that will stay. This line has to be erased, so you want it to be very light. Also, on a level front-facing face, not one that's tilted up or down, the eyes fall right about the middle of the face. You have to look at your model and see for sure because, and I'm gonna pull the rock in, my picture of the rock here, that this is just one I harvested off the internet. When you look from the top of his skull to the bottom of his chin, his eyes are very nearly right in the middle of his face. If I do just a finger measurement here, we end up with his chin just a smidge longer. Now, if you think that the eyes should be higher up, that's because most of the time we are looking at a face that has hair, and we only look at the face from where the hairline is to the chin. And it's a little bit higher than middle there, but if you're looking from the top of the skull, and his hair sticking up above his skull here, the skull would be about right in here. His eyes are right in the middle. So that's why we draw the line right in the middle. And as I'm drawing, one of the things I do to help me not draw so dark is I hold my pencil like this. Now later on when I'm needing tighter details, I'll hold it like this or even the normal way with the pencil. The closer to the tip that you hold your pencil, the more firmly you're going to be pressing on that pencil. But we want these guidelines that we're first putting down to be very light so they're easy to erase. So I'll hold it back like this or even overhand like this, because when you're holding it back where the tip of the pencil isn't resting on your hand, if you press down too hard on the surface, the end can go up, and so it limits how much pressure you can put. To keep it from going up, you have to squeeze harder and harder, but even then, if you press too hard, your paper is actually going to be pushing back on you. So this keeps me from drawing too dark. So I'm going to estimate about where the middle is, and I'm going to draw me a line straight across. I know it's very hard for you to see that line, but it is there. And so that gives me where the eye is. Now there's two different proportions you can use to determine where to put your little guideline for your nose and for your mouth. One uses half of half, and on the rock, his is pretty close to half of half, because where the tip of his nose is, not the septum, but the tip of the nose, and right between the eyes, if you take that measurement and then measure again, well, no, he's closer to the half of half. So it comes down here to just between his chin and where his jaw corners. So I could use that as a guideline because his lips do fall within half of that, but I'd just be having to drop the jaw down a little bit there. I found a picture earlier that I thought was thirds, but I can't remember who it was. Nope. And a lot of it will depend on how the person's head is tilted, because someone whose face fits the 1/3 proportions for the lower part of their face might fit half of half if the face is tilted a little bit differently. Let me try this one. I think this one might be thirds. If I go from between the eyes to the nose, then we get to a third about where the lip is, and then the chin is not quite there. It's a little bit short. This one might be eyes to nose. It's close. It's more like the bottom of the lip there and then to the chin. So you just got to use it as a guideline and see and measure on your model, whether it's a live model or a picture model, and see which one. But we'll go with the half of half. And what I mean by half of half or thirds, you could, and I'll draw this darker so you can see what I'm doing. For half of half, there's the eye line at half, and then halfway between that and the chin, you draw the nose. And then halfway between the nose and the chin is where the mouth would be. Using 1/3, I'll do that over here. Well, my ovals aren't cooperating with me now. I guess it's because I'm not lifting my hand up. I'm trying to do it all with my fingers. For thirds, there's your eye line at the halfway mark again, but then the bottom part you divide into 1/3. So that your nose is at 1/3 from the eyes to the mouth, and the mouth into the chin, and then the mouth is at 1/3 from the eye, 2/3 from eyes to the chin. Sorry about that. But let's just go with the half of half. So I'm going to find about the halfway mark there, and then halfway between the nose and the chin would be about right here. Okay, now if you notice, I did not put the lines all the way across. Now I did up here, but I wanted you to be able to see that. I just made a little bitty mark. That just means there's less I have to shadow. It also let me make them a little bit darker because there's not as much I'll have to erase. The eye I did go across because we're covering a wider area, and keeping the eyes level is a bit of a trick. But that gets us the basic layout of the face, either using the eyes at half, nose at half of between the eyes and the chin, and the mouth at halfway between the nose and the chin, or doing 1/3 where the eyes are still at half, but the nose is 1/3 of the way between eyes and chin, and the mouth is at 2/3 between eyes and chin. So. I'm not sure how much of that continued recording, but we'll stop it for now, and we'll pick up on eyes.